Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
All right, guys, welcome in. Happy Monday here. It is time to start the week off with the NBA tip-off show powered by WagerTalk.com. What a weekend it was. Certainly hope it was a profitable weekend for you. Certainly was a good weekend last week on the NBA tip-off show as the contrarian play of the day goes a big 5-0 with 4 straight-up wins. That's right, 4-1. Straight up there with those dogs. We got another one today, of course, and we've got 4 games in total we're going to break down for you with, well, 3 of the finest NBA handicappers at WagerTalk.com, including the prop god himself, Andy Lang, back in action there. Of course, Rob Vino here with us. We missed him on Friday, and there he is, the legendary Tony Finn, dominating in the NBA this season and continuing the profits rolling in for his clients. And Andy, my man, continuing to cash those prop tickets here in the NBA. How was your weekend, man? What do you got going on at $9 Monday up at Wager Talk?
An incredible NBA pack. The props just lined up today. We are 31 units in the profit so far on props this year. And this slate I've been looking forward to for a couple days. So we've got, I believe, 7 plays, 7 props up there now. Encourage you guys to go get that. It's only $9. And I've got several packs up, but I keep telling people the NBA one is the one you want to get tonight. So feeling great about the card tonight.
Can't go wrong. $9 Monday there. Head over there. Check out Andy's page. Rob Vino, my man, how was the weekend? Good to see you back here. And $9 Monday at Wager Talk. What do you got going on there?
Yeah, I'm with Andy. Not because of props, but because of the card itself. I actually have 5 plays up in the NBA today. Thought there was a lot to like. But we're 9-10 games in now, which certain things, at least to the way I handicap, are starting to develop here. And so a lot of them set up for today, so we're in good shape. But I got to say, Joe, that it feels strange to be here on $9 Monday, not sitting underneath Steve Merrill to tell me how much I should be charging for my plays and how to break it down to $1.36 for 10 games. Andy, I don't know if they clued you in on that, Andy, but you're supposed to at least tell me that I can use my card to purchase your package.
I'm sure Steve's watching.
Yep.
Steve,
yeah, Steve is watching.
Here?
Yeah, he is. Don't worry. Steve's actually texting in right now that you can grab Rob's $9 pack along with Andy's for $2.12 a play. It's amazing. I don't know where he comes up with those numbers, but it is $9 Monday, guys, and that means best bets $9. You just heard Andy and Rob tell you what a card it is tonight. It's not a huge card here, Tony Finn. But you're continuing to dominate, I believe, NBA season 23-10. You're rolling, my friend. What's going on up at Wager Talk for you tonight?
Well, first I'm going to ask if I can borrow $9 so I can get Andy's package, and $1.36 so I can get Rob's. And I'll be good. Then I will just add them all to my 3 plays, and it'll be a great night. I actually agree with you guys. I like this card a lot. In fact, there's 3 more plays I think I could add to the 3 I have, but I think we all know the math. You start putting out 60 plays a night, I'm doomed. So my clients are doomed. I like it. I like the package. I didn't play any this weekend, guys. Played all football, and it was just marvelous. Marvelous weekend for football, and strange stuff going on. I hope that doesn't carry over to the basketball court this week. But I like it. Let's pick some winners and make some money. All right.
Yep. 23-10 in the NBA season. Can't go wrong. $9 Monday, guys. Make sure you head over to WagerTalk.com. Let's dive into the card, and we're going to start, of course, where else? Our contrarian play of the day. Now, it was interesting because there were a couple of different games that kind of fit into this category. But I think the one that stood out and continued just to go the other way was the New Orleans Pelicans at the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the Mavs you might be looking at and going, wow, what is this? 6-3, I think, on the season. But their ATS record, guys, is abysmal. 2-6-1. And mostly because, not that Dallas can't win games, but Dallas continues to be overvalued in the marketplace here, which is why their ATS record is hot garbage. Now, Pelicans aren't exactly world beaters. We know this. However, Dallas takes all their shots from the perimeter, guys. They're a perimeter shooting team, which means a lot of variance here, which means there could be it could be an off night, and voila. I would not want to be laying 8.5, 9 points with the Dallas Mavericks, who refuse to score any buckets inside the paint. So, Andy, let me come to you. Take a look at this game from the prop market perspective here. What do you think, and who do you think we might want to key in on here tonight?
Well, first, I'd take a look at Mavericks over 54.5 for their team total in the first half. They've been scoring a lot of points. They're averaging 59.3 first half points the last 3 games. Pelicans have given up some huge quarters and some big halves. They gave up a 38-point quarter to Golden State recently. So this number seems a little bit off. It seems a little too low. I know I have a lot of unders on the card, but this one stuck out to me as a possible over. Porzingis under 1.5 made 3-pointers. He's 4 for 20 on the year. He's only gone over this total 1 out of 4 games, 0 for 3 in his first game back that he played coming off his injury. And if he's only going to be taking 3 or 4 3-point shots a game, I love this 1.5 number. I'll take the under all day long. If he's shooting 4 for 20, that means his attempts are down and his percentage is down. So as long as he keeps shooting 3 or 4 3-pointers, I'll take the under. My favorite bet tonight is Dwight Powell under 7.5 points, though. He's gone under 3 straight games. He's only getting 3 or 4 shot attempts per game. No free throw attempts the last 2 games. Porzingis is back, takes away some of his production on the offensive end. And play is plus money right now. Solid prop in the game. The price combined with the number makes this my favorite prop for this game. Dwight Powell under 7.5 points.
All right, Dwight Powell under there. I do believe Porzingis active in this one here, Rob, but I believe Brandon Ingram was listed as questionable. It does appear that he might be going here tonight for New Orleans, but Dallas, you want to be laying 8.5, 9 points with Dallas? I don't trust them, and it's obviously not been a very profitable move to back them thus far this year.
Well, and let's face it, Joe, they gave one away the other night, right? I mean, they were beating Boston by, I think, 17 points into the fourth, and they need a Luka buzzer beater from 3 to come out ahead in that game, 107-104. Now, credit to the offense of the Dallas Mavericks, 107 against the Celtics, who had played the previous 2 games, holding teams to, I think, maybe like 80 or less. They played a couple of games where they really dominated. One was Miami, didn't play well against the Celtics, and another team right after that the Celtics dominated defensively. So 107 with Porzingis back. You know, it's an interesting team that I can't get a real good read on as of yet, because Jason Kidd continues to talk about how the goal is to end up playing the Steve Nash Phoenix offense 7 seconds or less. But when you watch Luka, you wonder how they could ever play that way. He is very methodical coming up the floor. I mean, it seems like a pipe dream to me. Total here is raised up from, I think, 210.5 to 213.5, which gives you some indication that maybe Brandon Ingram is going to play. Let me show you what New Orleans has done the last 3 games offensively, because it's been miserable for them. They've shot 35.6, 39.6, 43% from the field. The most they've scored is 100 points. When your starting forwards are Josh Hart and Garrett Temple, you need Brandon Ingram to get in there and score some points for you. Bad enough to start the year without Zion, but then take away their second best scorer, and it's been all downhill for them. And the defense has been lousy. 3 straight games. Andy pointed out they've given up big numbers. Field goal percentage-wise, 3 straight games giving up over 52% from the field. It's not good against a Dallas team that shot pretty well the other night. Some of this stuff lines up for Dallas. However, I think I would have to take New Orleans here, Joe. They've played real solid for 3 quarters in multiple games recently and then died in the fourth. should they get Brandon Ingram back tonight, this line won't be 8.5 anymore. But certainly they'll be more competitive offensively. I think overall, my power rating showed this is a fair number. I have Dallas -9. I think I take the Pelicans, though. I'd have to go that way plus points here.
Yeah, it's interesting here, Tony, Finn. I mean, they've been pretty good home, 4-1 overall at home, I think, Dallas, but they've covered in just one game. They continue to be really, really bet in the marketplace, seem to be a little bit overvalued, especially with a Jason Kidd style offense that they're running there, which is they're not shooting in the inside. They got no paint presence whatsoever. Brandon Ingram looks like he's coming back. That can only give New Orleans a boost. I don't trust laying 9 points with this Dallas team. Do you?
No, absolutely not. In fact, I'll say right now that I've played on Dallas one time this year, which I think is not bad. They're already 10 games in, but and because I thought the matchup was perfect. And I was fortunate. I played Dallas on the money line because they didn't cover. They won by 1. It was a San Antonio game. That I was fortunate as could be, and it's one of those things where as soon as that happens, you need to. And I said before, I thought they'd played pretty well against Miami. Actually, they'd moved the ball well against Miami. They got some open looks from beyond the arc, and for the most part, up to the fourth quarter, they were still in touch with Miami and still gave some of those hope people who were backing him had some hope. You guys are absolutely right here. This Dallas team. First off, Andy mentioned the first half. Jason Kidd has said, I'm going to rest Doncic in the first half. Several times I'm going to rest him because he falls off in the fourth. Mm-hmm. The fatigue affects his jump shots, et cetera, et cetera. But I haven't seen it happen yet. I haven't seen him really rest him too much. I certainly haven't seen Doncic be dominant in the fourth, and that's what his goal is. He certainly can't be running that pace game, can he? Doncic, as you mentioned, Joe. So that said, it hurts a little bit to take the Pelicans to 9, as pathetic as they've been offensively, but it certainly doesn't hurt as much as taking Dallas and laying that number for certain guys.
I agree. All right, there you go, guys. That's the game, our contrarian play of the day. We're looking at bagging the Pelicans in Dallas. Take the 8.5, and that is the contrarian side. We are now going to focus on another game making headlines here today. Miami taking on Denver. Game number 1 here, featured game number 1 for us. Opens up at, what do we got? About a 1, I believe. Miami laying, and a lot of people scratching their head saying, what is going on here? We got a total of 208, but I do believe that also has gone to the wayside. I'm seeing 204.5. And 1.5 now is the number that Miami is laying here. So I'll come to you, Andy, once again from a prop betting market standpoint. Who are you looking at in this intriguing matchup here, either with Miami or the Denver Nuggets?
Well, I swear I'm not picking on members of the Denver Nuggets, but you know that scene in Office Space where the guy's trying to explain what he does at work, and yet and the guy goes, what exactly would you say you do here? I kind of feel like Monte Morris is kind of in that role. I'm not really sure what Monte Morris does exactly for the Denver Nuggets. 10 points, couple rebounds, couple assists, but I'm going to take him under 11 points. He's gone under in 3 straight games. He's only 2 for 12 from 3-pointers the last 3 games. Miami Heat, 3rd best team in the league guarding point guards. I think everything is going to go through Jokic like normally, and Monte Morris is just going to be suffocated by Miami. I don't expect him to be able to create his own shot. I'll take the under here at 11 points. Favorite bet, this was almost my best bet for the show, but Tyler Hero, over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's been really good, gone over this total in 7 out of 9 games. And in 4 out of the last 5 games, he's had 22 or more points, just points. So we get 25.5 with points, rebounds, and assists. He's only had 1 bad game this season. That was that just strange clunker of a game that the entire Heat team had against Boston. Shooting 42% on 3-pointers, 47% from the field. He's averaging 5.7 rebounds and 4 assists this season. I think this number is way too low. I know we do a lot of unders, but this is a clear over for me. Tyler Hero over 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
All right, good stuff there. And Rob, what about you here? Were you scratching your head when you saw this game open up at just a point? I believe they lost Michael Porter Jr. as well, Denver, a back issue. He's ruled out. Kyle Lowry, who's been battling some injuries here to start the season, he's active for Miami. And yet we've got the fourth best defense in the NBA going up against the 23rd or 24th ranked offense for Denver, who is now even thinner when it comes to scorers. So what gives with this? How are you looking at this game?
Yeah, I don't think you can look any way except for Miami as far as side is concerned, Joe. And I think the money has spoken. You probably look under where the total is concerned. Denver's on a 5 consecutive game under streak, 5-0 under last 5 games. So they've certainly played to that tune. They play one of the slowest paces in the NBA. And to add to that point, what you just said, they're so short on offensive spark. And not that Michael Porter Jr. was adding any. We can go back to Andy. He can tell us all about that. One of his favorite guys to go against. But the matchups on top of all of this, Joe, Jokic is the guy, right? Andy just said it. They're going to run the offense through him. But if there's one person who can cause him all kinds of fits on both ends of the floor, it's Bam Adebayo. Extremely mobile, very much able to guard him, very much able to make him work on the defensive end as well. That's a bad matchup. And without Porter Jr., I don't know who they stick. I guess maybe PJ Dozier goes in and they play a little bit small with the starting lineup, but who's going to guard? Not that Porter Jr. was going to do it, but who's going to guard Jimmy Butler on this team? PJ Tucker can obviously keep Aaron Gordon. Those two guys are kind of the same player. They negate each other. So then you look at those next two matchups, and to me, Butler and Adebayo really bring an advantage to Miami here. The bench thin for Denver. It's especially small. You're guard-oriented. Campazzo, Bones Highland. I just, sidewise, I like Miami here. The total, again, is a way to look if you want to look under, but I prefer to play the Heat. They're lucky that they played in altitude against the Jazz on Saturday. Yep. They got the day off and now play with a day off in altitude, so I don't think they're affected at all. Their bench has been really good. Tyler Hero's stuff has been documented by Andy. So give me Miami -1. Don't understand how they don't win this game by a few more than that.
Yeah, it's suspect. You know what it is? It gives you a pause here, Tony Finn, is the fact that this is only 1.5, and yet we know all the tickets here so far in Miami, but there's obviously got to be some liability here because they're not more than a 2 or 3 point favorite in this one. So there's some concern there that a significant influential part of the market seems to be backing Denver here. Who do you like?
Well, I'm going to play Miami. I have played them. They've been money for me. I'll play them until they fail me. And this situation, if they fail in this situation, I think it's a carryover from some of the NFL games yesterday that were teams gaining less than 200 yards in offense and winning outright in SoFi. Let's do this. Let's talk about this really quick. 9 games in the season. This will be the first time that Denver, as bad as they've played and as slow as they're playing, are going to be underdogs for the first time. Some of that has to do with who they've been playing. So, and I don't know. The only edge I really give Denver here is being at home at altitude. But they're not playing at pace. They're not trying to wear teams out by running the ball. So throw it out the window. There is no advantage for Denver without Jokic, without Nikola. They are -20. I think it's minus. Let me look it up. Just make sure I'm going to give you the wrong number. I thought I had it memorized, but I didn't. Obviously, they are -24 net rating without -25, -25 without him. They're not even. They're without Jokic. And when Barton and Jokic are on the floor together, -43.
Jeez,
-43. Now Porter Jr., as Rob just said, isn't adding anything. You can take him out of the mix. And actually, their net rating goes up with Porter. So the fact that he's out tonight really didn't mean. I'm sure that these guys were hoping whoever Porter Jr. was going to guard, because that's probably worth 20 points. Whoever he's guarding anyway. So They're Miami sixth in the league in scoring offense, first in the league in rebounding, third in scoring defense. Regression is going to kick in. One of these nights, Miami is going to fail so miserably that we're going to say that's not the same team we watched play all for the first 2 months of the season. Is it tonight? It would sure surprise me. I'm on Miami, one of my plays.
No, it was actually last week because that was a contrarian play winner too against Boston at home where they were just hot garbage. So the line is a little befuddling here, but that's where it's at, guys. Miami laying a point and a half here on the road in Denver. We're going to move on. Featured game number 2, another interesting matchup here, a little east to west. How about Atlanta taking on the red-hot Golden State Warriors here? And this line opened up 2.5. I am seeing 3.5s in the marketplace. I'm also seeing the total right around the 222.5 mark, so not a lot of play one way or the other. And Andy, I'll come back to you from a prop perspective here. Golden State's an interesting squad here from the prop betting perspective. Is there anybody that you like, or are you looking towards the Atlanta Hawks here tonight?
The Hawks are a team I've just really stayed away from. I enjoy watching them as a fan, but prop-wise, they're tough to figure out. It's different people every night. And we have so many options in the prop world, there's no reason to force it on a team. I will say I have a sneaking suspicion Clint Capella has a pretty decent game tonight, so I would look at his over 11.5 points. He's gone over in 3 out of 4, and he could be a tough matchup inside for Golden State. I don't see Looney being able to contain him. Draymond, as good as he is, I think Capella is just a little too big. And he could have a good rebounding night. And if he has a good rebounding night, I could see a couple offensive rebounds for putbacks. The alley-oop game with Trey, you could see a couple of those. So I think Capella could get to 13 or so points. But my favorite play by far is Steph Curry under 29.5 points. He's gone over this total only twice this season. And as we've seen, Golden State is a really deep team. Steph does not have to be the only scorer. In fact, I think you can make the case they're better when he's not the only one shooting. They look great when the points are spread out, when the stats are spread out, and everyone is engaged. The number is too high. Here's a couple other stats that really lean to this under. Joe, in his last 4 games, Steph has only made 8 total 2-point field goals. That's 2 a game outside of the 3 points. And in 3 out of those 4 games, he's attempted 0 free throws. He is not going inside, getting to the line. He is not getting to the basket and getting a lot of layups. And I watch him play a lot, and I think he really enjoys playing on this team. I think he enjoys being a facilitator. I think he enjoys the guys around him, which helps us a lot because I've been playing unders and cashing almost every night. This 29.5 points is way too high. Been playing Steph Curry unders a lot, so I'll do it again tonight.
It's a fascinating team. Rob, I can't remember who did they trounce. Oh yeah, the Houston Rockets last night, Golden State. So it is the second of a back-to-back here. And I'll say it again. It's great that and Andy talked about it here. How Steph doesn't have to be the guy. It's the first time in a while, right? He's able to kind of take a back seat and be able to look at the game a little differently here with guys like Poole and others. Otto Porter Jr. But their defense, they forced 22 turnovers last night. Their defense is one of the best. It doesn't get enough credit because you think of Steph Curry. On the second leg of a back-to-back, does it matter here, in your opinion? Atlanta on the road, it's usually a no-no for us. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, well, let's start with this, Joe. Golden State's defense looked real good forcing turnovers, but the last 4 teams they've played offensively, Houston's extremely young. The Pelicans, we just discussed how they really have nobody offensively. They played Oklahoma City, bad offensive team, and they played Charlotte, who is a fast-paced team, and they were healthy, so I'll give them that one game right there. But the last 4 teams they faced, none of them are of the offensive makeup of the Atlanta Hawks, who can really, really score. Let's talk about the Hawks' road defense. That defense has been pathetic. The last 4 road games they've played, 122 to Washington, 122 to Philadelphia, 117 to Brooklyn, 121 to Phoenix. all good offensive teams, but so are the Golden State Warriors. I would expect, in their current form, you would have to think that Nate McMillan's team, which, he's noted for defense, but it hasn't shown up on the road whatsoever lately. I think Golden State can score here. I think Atlanta can score here. The first half total has been bet up from 112 to 114.
Wow.
The last 4 Atlanta Hawks road games have all exceeded 114, every one of them. So they're 4-0 over this particular number the last 4 times on the road. Wouldn't be surprised if they get there again. Wouldn't be surprised if the full game gets over. So I think that probably the look here for me would be full game over 222. I'm not going to talk anybody off of first half just because Atlanta's been doing it so often. But that defense has been horrible. And in a game that we expect to be within a decent margin at the end, free throws may come into effect and add to the full game as well. So I like over from a couple of aspects here in this game.
Yeah, it really is a tale of 2 different defenses from last year here, Tony Finn, than what we're getting with this Atlanta team. It is hot garbage. Now, offensively, we just saw a team similar to the way Atlanta is playing right now. Charlotte, I think, last week, this line was 6.5 for Golden State. It's a little less here now, 3.5, but Atlanta and Charlotte in many aspects, really good offensively, got some weapons, and the defense is just hot garbage. So the second of a back-to-back with Golden State's depth, are you worried about them being able to shoot the basketball and score some points here tonight?
No, there's a lot of things, a lot of questions, more questions really about Golden State and the situation tonight than there are answers, unless you want to just use last year's numbers. But this is the first back-to-back for Golden State in the season, first time. And last year they were they weren't very good. I think they were 6-9 overall last year with negative numbers as far as margin of victory and against the spread plus minus. Okay, this year, as Rob explained, listen, nobody has a larger margin of victory. Golden State. No one has I think they ranked 3rd in ATS plus minus on as far as margins goes as well. But in truth is they're a tough team to trust laying a big number, not that tonight's a big number, mostly because once they get a lead, Curry's coming out of the game. He's sitting until Kerr feels like he needs to put Curry back in. And when he goes off the floor, it's not that they're horrible. They're about 8 points less than with Curry. But this is a team, first game of a back-to-back. And I'll talk about more in the best bets section. But my lean in this game tonight, and I didn't release it, my lean in this game is playing to that under 222. Not because Atlanta's been great defensively, because something different has to happen for Atlanta to be competitive in the league this year. Part of that is doing something different defensively. Now, this game, if Atlanta wants to, they could probably abuse me and hurt me a little bit on the total, because I think if you want to score at the rim, at least against Golden State. That's what you want to do.
Little less depth, by the way. Otto Porter on a rest night tonight. Iguodala took the night off. Looks like he's taking the night off again here tonight, trying to get some rest there at 85 years old. But that's an interesting game tonight, West Coast. 10 Eastern time tip-off, guys. The Hawks taking on the Golden State Warriors. That brings us, of course, to our overtime game. And we like to take a look at a total, and there is no bigger total on the board. Take a look at then the Charlotte Hornets. Taking a look at the LA Lakers, the LeBron-less LA Lakers, the offensively challenged LA Lakers. But hey, you saw it go up there, 224.5 now, 227.5, and we continue to have all sorts of questions about this Lakers team and what are they, who are they not. We know we've got questions as far as Anthony Davis. There was a question. He seems to be probable. But boy, oh boy, it's hard to get a read on what we can get day in and day out from this Lakers team. So we'll start from a prop market here. The total seems to be high there, Andy. So are you buying into that? Are you looking at any over or under props here for some of these players?
Yeah, I got a couple unders. You forgot to mention Christian Wood took the night off last night with his
Yes.
pouting and throwing a fit. So he had the night off last night too. So he should be very well rested because he wants the ball more. Best way to do that is to throw a fit on the court. Yes, I do. I do. I do like two props, and these are just hold your nose and take the bets because of the numbers. These are real humdingers. Mason Plumlee under 7.5 points. He's had 7 or fewer points in 6 straight games. He actually started off the year pretty good. He was getting a lot of rebounds, and he's just been slowly taken out of the game plan. He's only had 2 field goal attempts in 3 out of the last 4 games. So when you're only getting 2 field goal attempts, it's really hard to get to 8 points. And then don't laugh. I'm going to take Russell Westbrook under 4.5 turnovers.
Wow.
He had 6. I know. He had 6 last game against Portland. I just don't see him repeating that. And believe it or not, he's actually come under 4.5 turnovers in 7 out of 10 games this season. Those don't make the highlights, but when he messes up bad, those make the highlights. Don't overreact to the Portland game. Don't overreact to all the highlights. Play the number. I expect him to be a bit more careful, and the number tells me he's going to come in under 4.5 turnovers.
All right. I like that there. Maybe a little step up here for Westbrook tonight. They're going to need him here, Rob, one way or the other. Do you, agree with this move to the over, and is it an over or not for you when you look at these two teams tonight?
Well, the opportunities are going to be there, Joe. I mean, there's just no question about it. The Lakers played Portland the other night, and there's 505 available points in that game. 505.
Wow.
Now, they both shot horrendously from the field. The Lakers, I think, were in the mid-30s, maybe 34. Portland was about 37. Bottom line, out of those 505 points that were available, they only scored 38% of those combined, which made it a 90-something final score. Charlotte's going to play at that same pace. Charlotte, last night, they took 101 shots from the field. 101 shots. And the game is going to go up and down the floor. The question you have to ask yourself is, can these two teams bounce back and put the ball in the basket? My answer would probably be yes from both sides. Number one, if Anthony Davis doesn't score 34, 35 points tonight against an injured Mason Plumlee, then there's something wrong. There's really something wrong. If they have no defense against Anthony Davis in this game. And then on the other side, the shooting was poor last night, 40%. But these guys for Charlotte are kind of in and out. I mean, I've made a lot of money playing Charlotte overs. And usually it's on a bounce back type of deal, Joe, where they didn't score the night before and they'll score the next night. I have to believe that as bad defensively as they are to begin with, when you play back-to-backs, you probably are even worse defensively in a back-to-back. You just care about your points. So to me, I think first half, Lakers have been a higher scoring team. Charlotte's been a better first half over team. That might be the best way to look here, but I'm not going to go anywhere near under in this game, because in order to do that, you have to say to yourself, they're both going to shoot so horrendously that it can't possibly get over. I don't know with these two defenses that's the case. I think they probably do get over.
It does kind of have shootout written all over it, Tony Finn, does it? I mean, it's got to be, if you're going to look, is it over or not for you in this spot? Could we expect any defense whatsoever here tonight?
I guess if you think they're going to be tired and they're going to be concerned, they're going to be focused on scoring and not defending. The Kings scored 140 on them. What, 2 games ago? 140. A win by 30. They win by 30 in that game, 140 to 110. Ridiculous, right? We talked about that. I think we talked about that. May have been the game, one of the games we talked about going over. Here again, this is all about. I still find it very strange that there was a possibility that there was going to be no Davis tonight. You know, you guys said something. Rob said if he doesn't score big points tonight, there's something wrong. Well, he may have a stomachache again. So that's wrong. But what I'm saying is that without LeBron, they're 8 points worse offensively. However, how much better are they defensively? Or how much worse are they defensively? There's, again, so many questions that I have answers to, but I can't confidently tell you that I'm that I'm right. So I faded the Lakers one time this year. In the opening game of the season, I haven't touched them since. I said, we're never going to be able to figure this group out, right? Well, I think you guys haven't figured out pretty well. And that is they're going to do what they want to do, especially Westbrook. And if he has less than 4.5 turnovers, I kind of like this game to go over then probably. And I like him to have a good game. I might if Lang likes him under 4.5 turnovers, I like him to score 20, and maybe this game does go over. I'm sticking with you guys. Let's go over the total on this, but somebody's going to have to loan me some money to put money down.
Yeah, it's they're a tough team to back. Both of these two teams here, very tough. I will say this though, the team from LA, Charlotte, played last night, going to play a hell of a lot more defense than what they're going to see tonight against the this other LA team known as the Lakers. All right, Charlotte Lakers is our overtime matchup, and now, guys, of course, time to take a look here at some of the best bets, and we do that by throwing 60 seconds on the clock, and we give these guys the opportunity to do whatever the hell they want with it, provided they do give us a best bet somewhere in between there. So, Andy, you know the routine. We'll start with you. 60 seconds on the clock, my friend. Where are you going here tonight?
Well, unfortunately, Michael Porter is out, which took away one of my favorite bets under. However, my best bet is Will Barton over 8.5 rebounds and assists. When Michael Porter is out, Barton all of a sudden comes alive. When Porter went out last game, he got much more involved. He had 7 rebounds and 6 assists. That's a total of 13 rebounds and assists, and the books have put this number at 8.5. I think the books are a little slow to adjust. I love this bet. My favorite bet of the day, Will Barton over 8.5 rebounds and assists, so I'll take the over there. Houston is 0-7 on the road so far this year. Look at Saturday, December 18th. They go to Detroit to play the Pistons. They could be 0-16 on the road. If they cannot get a win at Detroit, it gets ugly for the rest of the season on the road for Houston. We could be looking at a record for road losses for a team if they go into that Detroit game over. Get your tickets now on StubHub. They're only $18.
That is good. You're right, Robert. I'm saying, listen, you're giving the guys breaking out in hives, will you? We need him to produce the show. Leave him alone. He can't even fathom the idea of them being over by the time we get to December. But you know what? I'm with you. Get me a ticket on StubHub as well. All right there, Rob. Appreciate it. Talk to me here. 60 seconds on the clock. Where are you going here tonight? What's your best bet?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Atlanta Golden State game over the total, Joe. The question becomes, do you want first half or do you want full game? I'll go full game here. Again, I wouldn't argue anybody off of first half, but Golden State, for what it's worth, their schedule, the difference between the two strengths of schedule between these two is incredible. I mean, the Golden State Warriors have played one team with a record better than 500 in their last 7 games. So they're beating up on the Sisters of the Poor. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Hawks have played, I think, 5 consecutive games against playoff teams with their records right now. I mean, they played Washington twice, Washington 7-3. All teams over 500. So I think the Atlanta offense probably shows us that Golden State's defense isn't as good as we think it is by the numbers thus far. Atlanta can score. I think Golden State will score because Atlanta's road defense has been hideous. So I'll take over 222 Atlanta against Golden State.
All right, let's do it. Give him the over. By the way, there was a quote from Westbrook who says he promises to play, quote, harder after that 1-for-13 debacle there against Portland the other night. We'll see how that works there. But over Golden State, Atlanta, that leaves us, of course, Tony Finn. I know you ain't backing the Lakers, so 60 seconds on the clock here, man. You certainly ain't backing Houston either, but go ahead. Talk to us. Where are you going tonight?
It was a Thursday when Rob and I were on a show together with the original G group with Ski. I played one side of a total. He played the other, so he's not afraid to fade me, and he won. I lost. I'm fading him. He made the case perfectly for me. The fact is, Golden State hasn't played a very tough schedule. Maybe their defense, maybe it's not as good, so maybe they don't win by as many. Maybe their offense isn't that good either. Atlanta played a pretty tough schedule. Maybe their defense is better than the numbers they have. first and foremost, I'm an under guy this year. Unders have been where the money is at. And in this game, I think Kerr is going to play his starters. He's 8-1. You got to go under 222 with Atlanta and Golden State.
Wow.
That's where the money is.
Wow. So let's see.
That
We got
disappoints me.
one going over. We got another one going under, Andy. This is going to be a hell of a shootout tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun the next show here. Once again, the recap. Andy Lang goes Will Barton over 8.5 rebounds and assists here tonight against Miami. We got Rob Vino says, expected points. Warriors defense a little overrated. And Tony Finn says, the hell with that. The defense is spot on, and they expect them tonight. So under 222, our contrarian play of the day here on Monday, starting the week off. We are fading the Dallas Mavericks. We're back in the Pelicans, taking the 8.5 points here tonight for our contrarian play of the day. Also, as a side note, if you're watching this and you have not heard, obviously a lot of craziness in the Knicks-Philly game tonight with Embiid now apparently testing positive for COVID. That leaves the Sixers, I don't know, with 7 guys to dress, I believe. So it's the line continues to move towards the Knicks. I'm seeing a 3 beginning to pop up. Now, keep in mind, this opened up Sixers 4.5. They were a favorite at home tonight against the Knicks, and now the Knicks are nearly just about that in some places with no Embiid. It's a mess there in Philadelphia, but they've done a pretty good job with all of the bumps in the road that they've had to deal with so far this year. But it should be an interesting game there. Sixers-Knicks, if you're wondering what happened, Embiid on the COVID list, along with a few other guys, and, of course, Ben Simmons, not available. So there you go, Sixer fans. Fingers crossed there. Don't forget, $9 Monday, too, guys. Andy, locked and loaded here, just crushing it with the NBA props. Tony Finn also killing it, 23-10 in the NBA this year. And Rob Vino as well, guys. You got a Monday Night Football. You got a little bit of everything from these guys tonight. And it is $9 Monday, which means best bets. Just $9 if you head over to WagerTalk.com right now. Go to Andy's page, go to Rob Vino's page, go to Tony Finn's page, guys. Lock them up. Let's make it a profitable Monday. And on behalf of Andy, Rob, and Tony, we appreciate the support, guys. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner on YouTube, and make sure you come back and join us again for another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show tomorrow. In the meantime, best of luck with your plays tonight, guys. We'll talk to you again soon.
Each and every Monday is $9
Plus
Monday at
650
WagerTalk.com.
on the
All daily
Knicks
picks
to
packages
score
are priced at only
121 or
$9,
more.
including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.